All right. Hello and welcome to part number 3. So, couple quick updates here. So, again, we have the live Q&A for OCD and Awareness Week on Thursday at 2 p.m. So, when you're watching this, again, please make sure you're on our email list so we can send you that link and you can join us this Thursday at 2 p.m. for a free live Q&A. Also, my new book, From Stuck to Unstuck, is available on Amazon this week for 99 cents. And so please check that out. Grab a copy while you can. And please do me a favor and leave a nice review if you find the book helpful, as it really just helps the ranking of the book on Amazon, as I want to try to get it to as many people as possible. And then, so if you haven't seen part 1 and part 2 of this series, please go back and check those out first, because this is going to build upon everything I talked about in those 2 episodes. So when it comes to recovery, right, which is the central theme of this 3-part series in light of OCD Awareness Week, because the main thing that I need you to understand is that with OCD and anxiety, you have to stop looking at yourself as someone who is sick or has a disorder or something wrong with you. In my opinion, there's not. Now, you might experience a lot more anxiety and feelings than a lot of people around you, but one of the reasons that that's happening is because you're not willing to experience it. So this energy loop is getting very powerful, right? And when you're stuck in this energy loop, it creates this whole lens, and the world looks scary, and it creates all this disorder in your life because you're navigating your whole life and trying to do everything to make sure you don't feel certain feelings or have certain thoughts. That's the issue at hand. Once you learn how to actually eliminate the safety behaviors and what to do with the thoughts and feelings in a healthy way so they surface and they pass on their own accord, you don't get caught in the loop itself. And that's really kind of what the message that I want to share in this is, just really this idea of not settling. So in the last episode, I talked about how a lot of people, they frame recovery wrong. And so therefore they use the tools in an incorrect way and don't get the results they think they should get. And so they get frustrated or believe that they can't get better. But another thing that I see people do is they settle. They settle for mediocre results. It's like I equate this, and I was saying this to my people in the community this weekend. It's like, imagine that you were in a jail, right? And someone's like, hey, it's like, let's go, I can get you out of the jail, right? And we need to go do this, this, and this, but when we get out of jail, and you can go live however you want to live. And the person said, it was like, I think I'm just going to leave jail on Tuesdays and Fridays, but I'm going to stay in and on the other days. It's like, yeah, that's significantly better than not leaving the jail at all. I will acknowledge that. But it's also like nowhere near what they could have. And I think one of the hardest things for me on, working with people and seeing people on this recovery journey is watching people settle. And they'll see some improvement, and then they will just not go to the level that they really could. In the message that I'd have for anyone watching this or anyone listening to this is, just don't settle. Just decide to recover completely. And really realize that it's within your power to make that decision. Don't let anyone else have any kind of power over this aspect of your life other than you decide the level of recovery that you really get to achieve. You decide whether you want to leave Tuesday, Thursday. You decide you want to be completely out of the jail, right? You get to make that decision. And you get to make that decision in the present moment every day to say, am I going to engage in a safety behavior or am I not? Am I going to give fear an inch of my life, or am I not? And yes, this requires a certain tool set. And yes, obviously I understand it's not easy, but it is simple in the sense of making the dedication to that decision. Like when you decide, other things in your life, you make them happen. And when you understand you get to make recovery happen, and it's not this luck or this like putting it in the hands of someone else, you make it happen. You really do. And I'm not saying that that it's easy work. It's not. It's very difficult work in some cases. In most cases, there's going to be hard days. But when you really understand recovery is a present moment decision that has a compounding effect, and that recovery is something in these states where you'll feel more peaceful or more accepting, or even, high states of joy, happiness, and getting into those states, that there's a natural unfolding of that happens in the present moment based on the cumulative effect of decisions you make. Right? So it's not that it's this place you reach in the future. It's this place that kind of unfolds in the present based off all your decisions. And when you realize that if you make the decision to recover, what that means is that you decide to not engage in those behaviors, to never allow that loop to form. And that you really have the power to make that decision. And you've always had it. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I don't cure people. I did not go to Hogwarts or some mystical training. It's like, what I do is I teach people how to do the tools so that they become their own healer. They become their own therapist, because you're the only person that can do this work. And yes, while that might sound scary, it should also sound hopeful, because as long as you've been looking for the solution outside of you, you've forgotten that the only real solution is right here. You've always been with the solution. And when you decide to take that back, take the power back, that is when you can find true freedom. And my number one message is along, obviously you can recover, and it's also, don't settle for anything less. Don't allow yourself to settle for anything less. Don't allow people to tell you what's possible for you or what they think you are capable of achieving. It's like, please don't let that happen. Decide that you can and you will recover. That it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of inevitability. It is going to happen. And you dedicate that. And the way that you dedicate yourself to that is by present moment decisions every single day of making sure that wheel does not form, and that if it is starting to form, that you break it immediately. And the way you do that is by not engaging in any safety behaviors whatsoever. And the best way that I know to do that is the AAA response. And that's why I'm such a proponent of. That's why I teach it in my 12-week program, Taking Back Control. That's why I teach it in my book, From Stuck to Unstuck. It's like, when you move to that full commitment, that is what produces life-changing results for people. And if you're struggling and you're stuck, like the central message that I want you to take from this is that this doesn't have to be your story for the rest of your life. And I believe that to the depths of my heart. And that's why I wanted to make this series this week. That's why, again, given the book for 99 cents this week on Kindle. So claim your copy. And that's why we're also doing the free Q&A. And if you're listening or watching this in a future date, it's like, yeah, head on over to Restored Minds, and we have several resources to help you on this. And we've seen it happen time and again. You can check out people that have come through the program. You can listen to other people's stories. It's like this is not a matter of if. When you really decide that this is going to happen for you, you can make this happen. And I just want you to know that. And so, obviously I feel the passion coming through on this. And so I'm excited about this. And I hope this message is something that resonates with you if you're listening to this. And I hope that today is the day that you make that decision to say no and say, hey, I'm taking my life back, and I'm not going to allow this to control me anymore. And that's what I want for anyone who's lost in that loop, because I've been there and I know what that's like. And I know what it's like to be on the outside and not have it control my life. And because I can juxtapose those two things, what I would just implore you is not to settle, because that's something that I see people do that really holds them back in life. And so make recovery your decision and dedicate yourself to it, and don't settle for anything less. And so with that, wish you guys a great week, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Hey there. So if you enjoyed that video, we've linked up a few more videos that we think you'd find helpful as well. And if you have found this helpful, we'd really appreciate your support by liking and subscribing. And if you're looking for help and guidance, please check out restoredminds.com, as we have several options for you to get started. See you guys soon.